So I promised you that I would help you understand what is strategy. Strategy, in the sense of a business, are the tasks and the methods that you use to get the business done. But more importantly, they're the principles, the precepts, the policies, and the procedures that you use strategically, meaning intentionally with a specific purpose in mind to achieve a goal or an objective. So when you look at it from the business perspective, strategy is your intention or your intended way of doing business that would allow you to achieve the aim, i.e., the intention that you set forth. So, for example, we hear people talk about brand strategy and marketing strategy and sales strategy. If you ask somebody what their strategy is, and they say, we're a low price leader, or they say we're a luxury brand, or they say we sell only to African Americans. I recently heard about a woman who has a business in Atlanta that she has 100 Black woman-owned products in her store. So her strategy is to provide business owners who are Black and who are women with an opportunity to sell their goods to a group of people who are interested in buying Black women produced products. That's her strategy. It identifies her target market, Black women who like Black women produced products. It identifies her vendors or her products that she will buy, products that are produced by Black women. Her tactics would be to go and find additional products and services that are produced by Black women. Her marketing would be targeted towards Black women, but more specifically towards Black women who are interested in buying products that are owned by Black women. So you see how it kind of really narrowly defines it. But more importantly, her policy is to only buy products that are produced by Black women. So then when it comes to looking at how she delivers her service, she would hire employees that understand that that is her product, that is her purpose, that is the way that she provides the service, and those are who her people are. Those are principles in her business. Only sell products that are sold, that are made by Black women, right? The precept is that there is a group of people that are Black women who are interested in buying only products that are produced by Black women. Her policy is that her company will only sell those products. So when you look at a strategy, the strategic methodology of creating the service is to ensure that as a business owner, you understand who you're selling to, why you're selling to them, what you're selling to them, where you're selling it, and then why would they buy it, where would they buy it, when would they buy it, and what will they buy it for. Your strategy helps you to answer those questions and align your business. And it makes you not be all over the place. So now let's think about, how do you find out if your strategy is in crisis? And how can you fix that in your business? Again, you know how we do. We work from 3 precepts, 3 tips that you can use to identify whether you're in a strategic crisis, whether you're in a systemic crisis, whether you're in a structural crisis, whether you're in a solution crisis. Because what do we want to do? Move from crisis to cash flow. How do you do that? By doing a system, structural, strategic, or solution audit, by asking 3 key questions and using the 3 tools that we give you here to make the change so you can move from where? Crisis to cash flow. So the first thing you're going to look at to identify whether you currently have a crisis in your strategy is number one, do you have a long-term vision? If you lack a long-term vision, which means you don't know where you want to end up. If you're only focused on surviving from day to day, your strategy is in crisis. Because what you don't have is a clear plan for where your business will be in 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years. And we will know then that you're operating in crisis mode. Number two, if you're constantly changing direction, this is another sign that your business is in crisis. If you're always changing direction, if your strategy changes every few months, or if you're always pivoting in response to what you think are external factors, you're probably being reactive instead of proactive. And the third one is if you don't have measurable goals. I said this before, I'm going to say it again. What gets measured gets done. Remember those principles, precepts, processes, and practices? Those are what leads into the creation of your goals. If you don't have definable goals, if you don't have measurable goals that you can monitor throughout the year, remember we talked about quarterly reviews? Now, as a business coach, one of the things that we offer is pivot to profit strategy sessions, quarterly masterminds that you can join so that you can spend time being strategic and making sure that your company is on target. Anyway, if you want to find out if your strategy is in crisis, check to see if you got any goals. Are they clear? Do they have divine targets? Are you moving toward them? Have you hit those milestones? What's your revenue growth? What's your customer acquisition number? What's your operational efficiency or daily run rate? How do you determine whether you are meeting the goals and being strategic about the people that you're going after, the brand that you're creating, the product that you're delivering, the service that you're delivering? How are you making sure and measuring and monitoring whether you're actually reaching that goal? If you find that you're in crisis, I'm going to give you 3 tools that you can then use to get yourself out of crisis. Okay? First one, define your vision and your goals. I got a book. It's called Intentional Vision. You can get that book, and it will help you to define your vision and your goals. The first tip is clarity. You need to clearly define your long-term goals, your long-term vision. Break it down into actionable goals, things that you can actually do to achieve your goals. Where will your business be in 1 year? Where will it be in 3 years? Where will it be in 5 years? This is one thing that I think is very, very interesting to me, is people don't know what success looks like. How are you going to know if you're successful if you don't actually have a measurement on what success looks like for you? If you don't know what success looks like, how do you know if you get there? It's like getting on a plane and hoping that it ends up in the city that you want to go to. If you don't know where you're going, how can you determine that you're there? You won't know that you've arrived because you don't know where you were wanting to even go. Once you have your vision, it's easy to break it down into quarterly and annual goals that you can track and measure. But if you don't write that vision, you're not going to know or be able to see, that's what vision is, if you've even arrived. Number 2, create a roadmap. I love this analogy of getting in a car and saying, Somebody says to you, hey, Dr. Zakira, how do I get to San Francisco? Well, I ask you, how do you get there? Well, honestly, there's many ways that you could get to San Francisco from Chicago. You could take a plane, you could take a train, you could drive. Honestly, you could walk, although who would want to do that? You could take a bus. You could hop a ride. There's a lot of ways that you could get there. And in between Chicago and San Francisco, there are many stops along the way. But if you don't have a map, when you get on that train or you get on that plane and you don't know where it is going, you could wind up in San Diego. You could wind up in San Antonio. You could actually wind up in San Mateo, Mexico, just because you don't have a roadmap that you can follow to get you where you want to go. Now, I'm telling you, I've worked with business owners from $1, $2, $300,000 to 40, 50, $60 million in business. And I will tell you that there are many, many businesses that if you drove past them, if you went to them, you would think, oh, they're making 20, 30, $40 million in sales. But it's all haphazard. And the good thing is that they may have a great product, but the reality is they could be so much further if they had a vision and a plan and a set of goals. So you've got to be strategic about deciding where you want to go and how you want to get there. And here's the last thing. After you have that roadmap, after you've created your vision and your goals, you absolutely must monitor your achievement of those goals and your vision. Monitoring your progress means that you have to be willing to adjust your strategy as you go down the road. I'll use the travel example. If you're in the car and you start off and you're going across 80, leaving Chicago, going west, well, 80 doesn't take you straight to California. If you stay on 80, you could wind up in Oregon or Seattle, Washington, because it curves. You have to get off of 80 and make some adjustments to your travel plans so that you can wind up in the city that you intended to wind up in. Because if you don't, you're going to wind up where you didn't want to go. You have to be willing to make adjustments. The market may change, and you have to change your strategy. I think about the people who started out with making cameras, and I use this example all the time, but they didn't adjust fast enough with the advent of the telephones with cameras in them. The adjustment caused many, many camera makers to go out of business. So many people didn't adjust their strategy. Companies didn't adjust their strategies because they didn't see the market changing. Think about the electric car that came out early, and then the manufacturers of the gasoline cars had to adjust so that they could be relevant in 2025 with electric cars. Had they not adjusted, there would be many more of them to be exact, because there's many that went out. There would be many more of them that would be out of business simply because they didn't adjust their strategy when the market changed. The other thing you want to keep an eye on, there's two things. These are called KPIs, key performance indicators. The number one that I look at is revenue per employee. You keep hiring new employees. Are you making sure that that new hire drives revenue? Does it drive your bottom line? Now, I know a lot of companies will talk about sales and the salesperson that drives the bottom line. But every employee that comes into your company impacts your bottom line because they cost you money. So if you're not measuring and regularly assessing your progress towards growth, you could hire your way into bankruptcy by hiring too soon, or hiring too expensively, or hiring the wrong person to do the right job. And what I mean by that is hiring a person that's not qualified to take on the task that you are removing from yourself or another team member. And when you get a bad hire, the cost of your company can be significant. So you have to be, as a business owner, you have to be diligent in monitoring and measuring all of the numbers that impact your bottom line. So as we conclude today's session on crisis to cash flow, identifying whether your strategy is in crisis, I want you to keep in mind that you have 3 ways that you can fix a strategy that's in crisis. Make sure you have a strong vision and a strong set of goals. Make sure that you created a roadmap, a GPS that you can use. That's a generating profit system that you can use to move from where you are to where you want to be. Making sure that inside of that roadmap, you have a lead generator, you have a lead conversion, you have a customer retention, and a customer upsell process that allows you to continually grow your business. And finally, make absolutely certain that you monitor your progress. Make sure that you monitor and adjust your strategy. Pay attention to your markets. Don't let your markets pass you by without you making sure what's going on in the market. And if you can do those things, you're going to adjust your strategy as changes happen in the marketplace, and you'll be good. But I want to make sure that these tips help you grow your business so that you can move from crisis to cash flow. Join the Crisis to Cash Flow Challenge. You can click the link below to do so. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. If you got questions or comments, things that you're concerned about in your business that you want to have answers to how you can make these changes, just put a comment in below. I'll answer. Also, just remember that it's up to you to make your day and your life amazing. I'll see you on the other side of change.